Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and today we're going to talk about a couple of kits that I really liked, and I just have not gotten around to talking about it. And I specifically wanted to because I don't think I've ever really spent any time talking about Maker's Cult. And I've been a Maker's Cult backer for a long time now, but I don't think I've ever given any of their models any due diligence on this channel, like really gone in depth. So today I really wanted to focus on their Black Knight kits. Now, they've done all sorts of various, 40K type models. And I say type models because they really are their own thing, but you can absolutely find fill-in positions for them in just about any kind of modern Space Marine army. I mean, let's be honest. Or I shouldn't say Space Marine, but I should say Imperium army, basically, because they have all sorts of interesting ranges that they've been putting out of very obviously inspired guard units as well. I've done a bunch of their feudal guard, which look like, traditional knights in shining armor, except armed with lasguns and carbons and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But today we're going to specifically focus on their Black Knight kits, and we're going to focus on two different ones particularly. We're going to focus on their assault models and their heavy infantry, and I know they have some fancy names, but I wanted to go over a couple of points with you guys. The first thing is Maker's Cult models really are just that. They're models. You're going to have to build this stuff. They may have some pre-supported, generic suggested poses, but for the most part, you're going to actually have to build this like you would any regular kit, which has its advantages and disadvantages. For me, that's a big plus because if you're like me and you want to swap parts around, these are absolutely designed for it. Now, I haven't tried actually mixing any of this stuff in with GW proper kits or with Mantic stuff or, any other third-party modeler bits, but I've really tried playing around with just their stuff, and there's some really nice compatibility here. So almost every kit that they've done so far consists of both the torso and the lower half of the legs. So that way you got a couple of different poses for the legs, and then you can mix and match. However, interestingly enough, and this is where it gets fun, is the contact points for all of the various arms they've done across all their kits, for each of the ranges at least. So their Space Marine types are one thing, their guard types are another thing, but there is absolutely some compatibility here. The contact points, like I was saying, are just about the same size. So we have a bunch of the assault arms here. You have choices of dual pistols, there's hammers, there's power swords, there's a couple of different shield varieties. Actually, there's the same thing for this heavy infantry kit, and this heavy infantry kit is probably one of my absolute favorites they put out. Unfortunately, I have not gotten around to actually painting any, but the versatility of what they've offered up is really cool. Let's say you want to do close combat. They have close combat available for the heavy infantry as well, and you'll see that the actual support size, the contact points are really close in size, so if you wanted to throw a heavy arm onto a assault body, there's absolutely nothing stopping you. Obviously, it's a little bit bigger and bulkier, but it works. There are a variety of different chest pieces at this point, and they're all compatible as well. They did a Marauder jump pack assault unit early on. Those would totally work with these guys. They had a set of what they call Crusaders, which were their basic infantry like this guy. It's the same size, basically the same torso. This has the tabard here on the front, the cloth there, as well as on the legs. His legs are a little bit different than the kind of greatcoat style this guy's got going on. Let's stick him there. We have a couple of other painted examples. Not necessarily these guys, but I have built a few as well. So if you do have the option of mixing and matching, if you pick up any of their kits, I know that they've done sales on their STL files around big holidays. They said they were going to be doing some kind of discount once they hit 2,000 subscribers to their Patreon, so you might want to keep an eye on that if you do those kinds of things. But there really are a lot of options, especially when you start to mix and match. Speaking of mixing and matching, as I wanted to eventually get to this heavy infantry kit, another interesting thing is the heads are almost all the same size, and the contact point where you glue them all on is actually the same size, so you can swap them around. This is what the heavy head looks like, and the assault head is basically actually, it's almost the same as this Crusader. I dig these guys. I don't know if there's any bald, unhelmeted head options. I'm going to focus right now on just this heavy kit because there's some neat stuff. So Most of their kits do have shoulder pads available, so if you wanted to substitute your own in with your chapter of choice, you could do something like that. But one of the cool things is this kit has a whole lot of options. Let's say, as I have a shield here, let's say you wanted to do Grey Knight style ones. Well, they do have that option with the spears. Let's say you wanted to do swords. I don't know where I had a power sword for him. They've got all kinds of sword options. Let's say you wanted to do the new flame fire dudes from Indomitus. Well, hey, look at this. We've got a nice flame-like heavy gun with the pipes and everything attached to it. So we could totally do that. Let's say you wanted to make assault units, or what were those guys called? The ones with either the gun hands or the flame hands. Well, they have that option covered as well. And they have these really cool ones. So they have them either open or closed. I guess these are both closed. Maybe they're open, I don't know. No, these are the closed ones. So you can see they have like a cat head, panther face. And then they actually have an open version with the gun sticking out, which is kind of cool. Not the best prints, I admit. And I didn't even print all the options. There's a ton of weapons available. I do have a finished model here to show you guys. So this is one of their heavy infantry. This is the flamethrower version. Dominators? I don't know what they're called. Intimidators. And you can see he's got the flamers there. So it's a dragon head. Whereas the autocannons are the lion or panther head. So just a neat kit overall. There's a lot of versatility to it. And like I said, there is a lot of compatibility if you wanted to mix and match. This is another of their heavy infantry sets. I want to say they called this the Cronus Armor. I do have a painted example of that one. They had a character model done up early on. It's a test sample. Another one they did were these veterans with giant swords and grenade launchers. Would actually make pretty good proxy Crusaders, I guess. They even had some big, oh gosh, what were those guys called? Centurions. This is their Centurion style armor. Something different. They have other ones where they're swinging those hammers with a couple of different loadouts. Built up one of the assault guys as well. So there are quite a bit of variety. I don't have any of the jump pack guys. I know I gave my brother some too, and I don't think he ever painted any. But they're just a lot of fun to mess around with. And again, the more bits and option choices that you have, the more compatibility these guys have to offer. So if you do have some of these, or you ever want to go in and split the cost with some of these, I've done this with my brother actually. We picked up STL files for a bunch of different units and have kit bashed all sorts of stuff, and hopefully I can get him to actually finish painting some of those, because they have a lot of really cool AdMech, dark AdMech type models, and I don't think either of us have finished painting any of them. So something to look forward to. We'll have to get around to that. But honestly and truly, there is a whole lot of stuff there. If you like designing your own figures, if you like coming up with custom characters and kit bashing a kill team, I really don't think you can go wrong with Maker's Cult stuff if you like that aspect of the hobby of building and customizing your own guys. They do have a lot of options. It could get pricey, I guess, if you go after too many bits, but then again, you know, if you're sourcing all that stuff from GW guys, you know, it's going to add up as well there. So something to consider, and hopefully something that you guys might find some interest in as well. If you have any painted stuff, or if you have any you want to show up, by all means, please let me know about it. I would love to see more, and it would hopefully get me inspired to finish more of my own, because like that's it when it comes to painted Space Marine types from Maker's Cult, and I know I've printed a whole lot more. Anyways, with that said, we'll put a link down below and you guys can check it out on your own. And this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.